Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Open Net episode 15. And wow, I just gotta say, this intro is insane. And I know my boys right here agree with me.
That I don't know what just happened, but my mind is blown right now. That was beautiful.
If I could only get away with telling you how that intro makes me feel without violating Twitch terms of service, let me
Makes
tell
my
you.
makes my balls piranha feel a certain way. So
Yeah, that's true.
Your balls
I
piranha
gotta
feel a
agree with
certain
that
way.
one.
Yo, man,
I'm gonna
dude,
buy a case just for that.
dude, huge shout out to DJ and Miko for making that happen. That is now going to play before every episode of Open Net, just like how the mainstream has their own intro. We commissioned that in what, Flips? Week 2, week 3?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been like 15 weeks. We've been waiting patiently with Miko for her to kind of develop and work and literally build that from the ground up. It's an absolutely amazing job. So props to her. And DJ made the music. We gave him a basic track out of APM Music and he remixed it. So props to him for that too. It takes an army to get this whole show up and running, but
that was worth it. That was way worth it.
It was worth it. But
It was.
Boys, the first week of playoffs is over.
Yeah, it is. The first week of play-ins were incredible. There were a lot of things happening. I gotta say, I feel like I was right a lot of the time. We remember about last week. I called a lot of the games, like almost to the minute. But you know what? Before we get into what I did well in CL, I want to see about AL. How are the AL play-ins?
Blue Conference threes. Let me tell you, I don't know what happened. I really don't. In Blue Conference threes, all 3 of the teams that played, the top 3 seeds, all lost. Foxes, Hawks, and Spartans all lost. The 2, 3, and 4 seed all lost their play-ins. That means that the Wolves beat the Hawks. I don't understand. I made a joking bet last week with Flips that if the Wolves made it to the conference final, which means they have to beat the Hawks and they have to beat the Blizzard. If the Wolves beat the Blizzard, I have to cut my hair. Now, all of you can see, I'm going to take my headset off for a second. All of you can see that I've got lots and lots of hair. It is very long. It's taken me almost a couple of years.
It's a luscious head of hair right there.
Yeah. But if I have to cut my hair, J-Hex, I'm coming for you.
It's a week of upsets, though. Three straight upsets.
It's wild. I want to hear more about this AO. Is anything else going on in AO Fresh?
Other than that was the biggest thing. The Sabres beat the Foxes, which in 2s, which was absolutely wild to me because the Foxes were one of my heavy hitter teams going into this. So both the Foxes are out in 2s and 3s. It just absolutely blew my mind. They were such a strong, heavy hitting team throughout the entirety of the season that I really wasn't sure what happened. Going into AL2s, it wasn't quite as upsetting. The only upset over there in the Orange Conference, or the only upset in the Orange Conference in general, I believe, was the Shadow beating out their team and going on to, they're the number 6 seed, so they go on to play the number 2 seed that won their game. I believe mistakenly forgot to pull up the standings before we started the video because we were so hyped about the intro.
Yeah,
but
we were.
We were screaming hype in the chat. We were like, "Oh my goodness!"
All attention was focused on that, on watching that intro.
Yeah, and I mistakenly forgot to pull up my standings. So, with that being said, it's been a wild week, and I would like to comment throughout the 3 leagues that played between doubles and standard across all leagues. There were 17 upsets. 17.
Wow.
17 of them. Now, the Blizzard avoided all of them because they were the number 1 seed in all of those situations. But there were 17 upsets. It's absolutely wild. Thus, the title of the episode.
That's understandable. I mean, that's incredible how many upsets there were. I definitely didn't call that many. I know that for sure.
Like 3 or 4, that's to be expected. But 17? That's absolutely nuts. And there's only 4 per league. So there's what, 12? So they got 17 upsets. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
It is. It shows anyone here has a chance. So all you gotta do is put your best foot forward, and whoever comes out on top that day, literally anyone has a chance.
Absolutely. Well, that's some crazy stuff that happened in CL, and honestly, I don't think anything in CL was as crazy as what happened in AL.
No, so AL was an absolute roller coaster, but CL on the other hand.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'll start talking about CL real quick, and I just gotta publicly apologize to the Puffins for saying that I was right and that you guys were gonna lose both in the first round. Sorry, Puffins. Love you guys, but it was tough. You guys had a great season at the end. I'll give you guys that much. You guys were at like a below 15% chance of making the play-ins, and you guys did, and that's why I went against you. But still, nevertheless, fantastic season from you guys. That's just what I need to start off with. So yeah, and then let's talk about some of the games. So surprisingly, the number 6 in standard, I should say, the number 6 Outlaws took out the Comets, and they got them away from the ship in a 3-1 Dubsky. It was great for them, and the Outlaws came and took their name. They're just how it is. Like it wasn't a close match either. Unfortunately, it was very one-sided when the Outlaws were winning. So I'm not sure what was happening with the Comets, if they were just having some mental issues or something. But hey, Outlaws got another shot at it after coming into the plans. So good for them.
They said this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
It's okay to have performance issues.
You go see a doctor about that.
Oh, nice. Okay, so doubles for CL. The Lightning took out the Spartans, and can I see fresh?
Just keep going. Just keep talking.
I say we focus on this part. I like this part.
I gotta say it was a pretty good series though. It ended in 3-2 series scores. So obviously it was close. And when you look at the goals, I mean, I think Lightning had about 5 total goals above the Spartans. So they were close matches. I think the highest dividend between matches was like 3 goals. So I think it was like a 4-1 match. Nevertheless, 4-1. Sometimes people get goals at the end. I wasn't able to watch the game myself, but I do know that it was definitely a close series. But enough about CL. And today we actually brought in a professional here to talk about the ML play-ins, because obviously none of us are experts. But actually, the Foundation League player is our new expert. So why don't you tell us about ML?
Thank you. I love the great intro. Obviously, me being the FL player, I know basically everything there is to know about Rocket League.
He does.
All of MLE, I own it. It's all up here. Everything I know. So to get into it, doubles match. The Blizzards take out the Wolves in a 3-0 sweep. It's not a good look for the Wolves get swept this early. But Blaster RL was having a blast. Good little puns run in there, as he puts up a 73.89 sprocket rating, guys. A 73.89. That is incredible. A ridiculous number to be putting up. His stat line was 5 goals, 3 assists, and 16 saves. A defensive masterclass. The defensive masterclass. He basically shut him out completely. I think he might basically be on his way to PL at this point. I don't know. I think he's got a good chance.
Absolutely. And honestly, it must be devastating for the Wolves. I know that was such a frustrating match for them to have so many shots and to get saved like that. That is some of the most frustrating stuff to happen in Rocket League.
That must have played into the 3-0 sweep. You just get mentally boggled by everything you're doing. It's just getting shut down by one man or woman. I don't know.
It goes a little bit of both ways. Like, yeah, that is mentally frustrating, but to me, it sounds like they have a placement issue. Placement of your shot. What ML up there, you should be able to put the ball almost about anywhere where you want to.
I see what you mean.
With a lot of times, you see someone that has that many saves, either they're absolutely goated on defense, which is probably what the case is here, or the team that they're playing against really doesn't have the ability to place their shots quite very well, or they were just taking a lot of really low opportunity shots or low and slow shots on net. So, but props to them for taking out the Wolves.
Yeah, big take out of the Wolves, big sweep.
Yeah, feels really good.
Yeah. All right. So on to a next match in ML. We got a standard match. The number 7 seed, another upset. And unfortunately, oh wait, no, I read it wrong. My bad.
You did read it wrong.
I did read it wrong. That's on me. Number 7 seeds get knocked out by the 2-seeded Wolves. The Wolves bounce back for standard at least. The Hurricanes took it to Game 5, which is a well-fought match. They take it to Game 5. That means they're putting up a good fight. Probably a good series, or it's a good series all around to watch. Moto on the Wolves is having a spectacular series, and unfortunately ending the Kane season earlier than they wanted. But I mean, to take it to 5 games, it's as good as you can possibly do in a losing effort.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the Canes did their best, especially coming in as the number 7 seed and having to go against the number 2. That is some of the most, like, not scary, but like it really gets you pumped up, right? You're like, we're barely in and we got to prove ourselves. And unfortunately, they were just not able to at this time. Sorry, Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Nice try, though.
I had to give the Wolves some sort of credit after getting swept. I had to give them their flowers for a win in the ML.
Here you go. Here's your participation trophy.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, good job, Wolves. You know, you lost it in 2s, but at least you guys stayed in it with standard. So
standard is a better mode, anyways.
Quite
debatable. Debatable.
2s mains.
I'm a 2s main, but I'm transferring to a 3s main now. That's why I'm like
come to the dark side.
It's too much. It's too much actually having to play Rocket League for my liking.
Yeah, I just want to sit there and air roll the entire time. Okay.
Exactly.
And I'm allowed to do that in 2s.
Well, go play 1s then. Go play 1s.
1s is for people. 1s is for people that hate going outside and don't care about their mental well-being. I will die on that hill.
Alrighty. Well, that is it for our play-in recap. So, fun enough, we are going to. Oh, sorry, not us. We have a pre-recorded video of J Hex of the Blizzards. And there's going to be a little talk with him, talking about how his season went. Maybe a little bit about how he drafted to make sure his team. I mean, the Blizzards did fantastic for the last couple of weeks. Fresh, Quilly, and I have literally been talking about how amazing the Blizzard have been doing. So it's only right that we bring on the FM and see what he's been doing so that everyone else can get a piece and try to make MLE a better league. How do you guys feel about that?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ice Cold Brew, and I am here joined by the franchise manager of the Blizzards, Jahex, who I'm going to talk about the absolute domination they are showing from AL all the way up to PL, and especially for playoffs coming up this week. Jahex, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing tonight?
Doing lovely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, 4 out of 5 of the leagues that you have, 4 of them have made it to playoffs 7 out of the 8 times. You know, you have PL3s and the number 3 seed playing this upcoming week, actually. You also have a very dominant spot in AL and CL being the number 1 seeds at each mode up to that point. And then in ML, 2s and 3s, you have the number 5 and number 6 seed, respectively. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about how this came about for your team? You know, what are you looking for specifically at draft and in free agency as time went on? And did you have any players drop in league to be picked up by your team? Did that change anything at all for your strategy as well?
So before season starts, we typically do a lot of early work on tryouts, typically just do a buttload of them. Send them all out, get a lot of names, and we, in those tryouts, do quote-unquote like interviews, so to say. It's not really too official, but we like to learn people's personalities and then kind of collect that into our own little document. And then when draft day comes around and we're drafting our players, we can say, this player wants to be a very competitive mindset player. This one is just here to make friends, and those are all fine traits. But being us, we are typically more competitive mindset. But if we've had instances where we've had previous seasons where we picked more friend group type of teams, and we'll do that. But it is typically taking those personalities, connecting them together, regardless of chemistry established beforehand, and then developing that as the season goes on. Ideally, with maybe 1 or 2 players having some prior chemistry to make our start of the season not so poor, and then it advances from there.
I agree with that. And from the demolition side, we kind of look at personality as well too, and especially once it goes higher up in the leagues. One thing I do want to point out is in the very beginning, after we had draft over on OpenNet, we had the panelists look at every team, and they actually rated your AL squad as a B tier, your CL squad as a B tier as well, and making the right but difficult call in MLPL as putting them at the top of the level, top of the leagues, and S tier. This is best from Luke _ who is a PL player in Demolition.
Yes.
What's the harder challenges with ML, because they seem to be fighting a little bit more? Were you very involved with them and like talking with them, going through replay reviews?
So ML is the team I play on, so extremely involved with them. We have done practices, probably not as much as like our CL and AL team do, which they do practice like 3 times a week. ML, we get together and play. It's a lot more of a relaxing environment that we've set up on here. Blaster is probably like one of the heads of how our environment works on our team. It's a lot more chill. He likes to stream while we're doing everything we're doing. He's hanging out, talking to his stream. It's very fun, and I think that bleeds into our gameplay, and it maybe shows why we're not like the best team all in ML. We have a shot. We've made it into playoffs. Now we can prove ourselves further if we want to. But that's what's going on with our ML team. It's a lot of highs and lows in that league. So it's hard to pick where to put these draft teams into these ranking categories, because you don't know how the players are going to develop, or rank outs or even rank downs happen too as well.
Yeah. So a strategy I've employed as a GM is kind of encouraging the higher level teams train up the lower level teams. Have you and Blaster like taken charge on that? Are you adding the champion Blizzard players and asking them like, hey, do you want to run some ranked with us? Do you want to run some in-houses and kind of coach them up?
We have done in-houses as well as sometimes our PL team will offer advice, and it's not typically been in replay reviews, more so just like Nit, he'll write like a paragraphed example of what he's trying to get at with our players and explain something to them. Most of them, they just get all their confidence and chemistry through practice, so we haven't really had to do much with them, because we typically, in previous seasons, we've done that. We've had our ML team scrim the CL team scrim the AL, and so on. This season's just been a little different, and it's been totally fine. It's been working for us.
Absolutely. The season's definitely changed, and it shows how strong the chemistry and how strong mechanically your team is and how well they work together. By the numbers, like, y'all had a nice off week for AL and CL, and now you have your ML and PL squads ready to fight for the next week as well. Is there anything major you want to shout out about your team across the board, or anyone in particular you want to point out as like a major leader during this entire season?
Always going to be Face. He's my right-hand man in this. We've been doing this since I first started in season 11. I think that's a massive reason why we have success. We've met a lot of players. We know a lot of personalities combined with all that. So every season it gets a little bit easier for us, because we don't have to do as much survey on the entire player pool. He's done amazing with AL this season after having a previous season where it was a difficult one for him. We didn't do as well in AL, and so him having this rebound with his team and developing it, they've done amazing. Another person is our 2 captains that have done amazing on FL and CL, Peso and Zorba. They've done amazing at making sure scheduling is done, so I have less on my plate because I've started a job, I'm working a lot more, so it's not as easy for me to be around with this team as much as I have been in the past seasons. But those guys, all of them, have done amazing work in helping me out, making the season as successful as previous.
And now going into your competition a little bit, let's focus on the league you're playing in as well. Is there any major analysis or anything you prepared for your matchup against the Wolves and the Knights overall? Like anything you want to point out about how they play and how you hope to counter that, or any kind of major analysis? Or if you want to just call them out in general and be like, they aren't that big. They can do this. These are the only 2 players we're worried about?
So for our ML team coming into this postseason, we've had a lot of issues with availability, and that's typical. It happens all the time, and so it's not a big deal. So we made it really hard to practice. I think we got 1-2 scrim in early in the week, and then we played our game earlier today, and we did fine. It's one of those things you're not going to fully know, in my opinion, what's going to go on in the postseason. Mentalities change. There's just so many factors that are different from a league play structure, where you can lose a game and it's not that big of a deal, to a all of a sudden new brand format where you're so conscious about every goal that goes in. Everything is just so much dramatic. And so players, you can watch their replays and you say, oh, they have these tendencies, and maybe they'll fall back on those passively without them knowing about it. But they're going to change, and you have to learn to calm yourself down. And so I sit in my VC with my players sometimes, if they're fine with it, and try to make sure they're feeling fine with the game going on. They're not, maybe I'm helping them find little holes here and there that they're not focused on because they're just focused on their own gameplay. But similar with, we're going to play the Knights tomorrow. We haven't got a whole lot of practice together, but it's built chemistry that we're kind of hoping that foundation holds sturdy. But ML team's also different. It's just been a more vibe, happy go team. And so we're not too worried about every result, and we were happy with what we've done out of the season.
And a fantastic season overall. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, JX. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Good luck this season. Shout out to just every single one of your squads. And I'm hoping next season we can see all of them come back again for another round in playoffs. And I hope to face them as the Demolition when that time comes, because I definitely want to bump them off the road.
Of course. It's always, the competition is so fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And y'all, back to you. Thank you so much. And y'all have a good night.
Wow, very, very incredible stuff there. Gotta love JHex. Thank you for coming on and being open about all the things you did for Blizzard. And it seems like it's not that far out of reach for other FMs. I mean, they better have been taking notes. How do you guys feel?
It must be hard to get interviewed for being good.
Yeah, Quilly, you're gonna be a long time before you get an interview. Let me tell you right now.
Out of pocket.
Oh, that's for digging at my seal Spartans. Okay, but anyways,
I regret nothing.
Anyways, one of the biggest things that I noticed is that for like Flip said, FMs take notes. Like when you're building a team, you're not just building like an AL team or an ML team or a CL team. You are building a whole Discord together. Like the CL and AL need to work well together. The AL and FL need to work well together. They need to go hand in hand, and they need to work together as a team, because you build off of each other. You get, the AL team. I know my AL team got better by playing with some of the CL guys or some of the ML guys. I know the first night, or the second night after draft, we had a night where the entire team was in the Discord, and we were running like 2 six-man rooms, just having fun goofing around. But it's more, it takes an army to get this far, and they've obviously very well constructed each of their individual teams, as well as maintained that kind of mesh together that helps everybody grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Quilly, being Foundation League, has the most knowledge here. So I feel like I want a little bit of your tips, Quilly. What would you get? What are the tips you'd give to FMs?
Fresh definitely hit the nail on the head. It's a trickle down effect. It's not just one team you're looking to build. You're building it. It's levels to it. It goes deeper than you think. Everything coincides. So it's all about. I'm a huge proponent of chemistry. As long as everyone's getting along, I think for the most part it's going to be huge. Chemistry is huge in FIFA for a reason. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that helps make people play better.
I stopped playing FIFA after my people don't get better after I get a yellow or a red card. That's when I
play with some passion.
Exactly. I love that mechanic where if you got a yellow card or red card, your players would automatically get better. Yeah. That was the life.
Yeah, but definitely, if you're taking notes from someone, take it from him. He clearly knows what he's talking about. Clearly knows what he's doing. So, and, good on the Blizzard this season, and hopefully they can do something with their success.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, thank you, Jay Hex. Appreciate everything you've done. But now we are going to move on to the semifinals preview, because this upcoming week is a big week for everyone that is still in the competition, and I'm really excited because every game is going to be a good game. This far into the season, that it's the best of the best now, right? There's not going to be any sweeps, and if there is, upsetting. Absolutely. So I don't expect any sweeps coming up this week, but I guess we'll see. Quilly, the professional, I need you to talk about FL here.
As a person that has a team with 2 matches, I hope there's some sweeps and it's just us 3-0ing. I'm just gonna, for the sake of my heart rate, hope it goes nice and easy. But this week, big week in Foundation League, we get our first set of playoff matches because obviously we had the bye week last week because we don't have play-ins. We get to look forward to the Hurricanes versus Spartans 2s match. I think this is a big week for Hurricanes to show their dominance. They've been dominant all season. They're basically the team everyone fears. With their 2-headed monster and 2s, they Sinful, I believe. I always mix up
Sneak.
I mix up Sinful and Sinister all the time. Sinful. He has the highest sprocket rating by double-digit points. He's put on a master class all season. He's definitely someone to look out to watch. And Sneak, I think Sneak's borderline AL already. So, I mean, they have a 2-headed monster that just everyone's scared of. I feel bad for the Spartans for having to go against them first week. Definitely not ideal look, but I think Hurricanes might take that one. I think that might be the sweep. I think it's going to immediately contradict Flips' prediction.
What was that? What did Quilly say about the Spartans? What did he say?
I think
what did he say?
Spartans getting hosed. It's not even going to be
getting hosed. This is not Sparta. This is Hurricane.
Literally.
We'll see.
How many times do you see a Spartan experience a hurricane? Never. What are they going to do?
Okay, that's actually a very valid point because if you think about it, because Sparta was in like the Mediterranean, Middle East, and there's not really hurricanes out there in the Mediterranean.
That's true. Geographic stuff.
Honestly, just a shout out to the Hurricanes here. I was on the Hurricanes were the first team that drafted me last season and stuff like that when I first joined MLE, and they have a really good set of people there. And Squanchy, their FM, he's kind of kept the core group of people that he needed to. I mean, Preston's been on the Canes. I think this might be his 3rd season now on the Canes, and he's the captain of the Canes, and he's done his job. Normally I like to talk about how bad he is because he's one of my best friends, but I guess here, he's here, and I'm hoping he beats the Spartan so I could rub it in Fresh's face next week.
Yeah, praying on.
I will give you a pass on 2s, but on standard for FL for FL standard, the Spartans are going up against the Knights, and I'm just saying our boys are number 1. They topped out the division, topped out the conference this season. They're ready. They practice a lot on their own. They play almost every night together. They have a lot more than just skill. They've got chemistry to go with it. So be on the lookout for that match too.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about AL now.
Wait.
What?
One more match.
I
gotta talk about Eclipse.
Oh, Quilly.
I gotta talk about the Eclipse.
The only claim to fame that your team has.
Oh, heck yeah. We got an FL team. I'm going to talk about that FL team.
If Quilly wasn't here on OpenNet, no one would be talking about the compasses.
No one would give a dang about the compasses. No one would. That's pretty much why it's the whole reason why I got into this, so someone would talk about us.
Someone in chat says Eclipse who?
Me the NFL.
Exactly.
Me the NFL. We got 2 matchups this week. We got a 2s matchup versus the Express, which is going to be, I think it's going to be a good matchup. We did 4-1 them last time, but they sent out a 5-sal, so I'm expecting them. They have crazy amount of depth. They have 4 9-sals. They have tons of people to send out. So they have Astrus, and I know Jazzle or Jazz L. I don't know how he goes by.
Yeah, Jazzle. I've played with Jazzle before.
Two of their key names that they could send out. They have 2 more 9-outs. They're a dominant team. They're not a team to be overlooked. We're 2 and 3 seeds respectively for a reason. So I think it's going to be one of the better matchups this week. It's for 2s. I'm not going to give any info this week as to who we're sending out like I usually do. Since it's playoffs, I'm going to have to be somewhat secretive, nor am I going to give a prediction.
It's okay. You're going to lose anyway, so that doesn't matter. Let's move on to AL.
Nothing around here.
Straight cruel. I can't have anything. Oh, man. So AL, like we said earlier, was absolutely wild this week, where in both instances, in doubles and standard in the blue conference, the 7 beat the 2 seed. The Sabres in doubles, mind you, the Sabres whose 3s team was the worst 3s team in the league, arguably.
No, they drafted all 2s mains. I'm friends with them. They literally drafted all 2s mains.
They built for 2s, and they still barely made playoffs, but they did, and then they beat the Foxes. Now the Foxes we all know and love is like everybody. It was like the OG team. Everybody was like, oh, they retained so many people from last season. They're goated. They were like 31-19 in week 10 or whatever. They lost to the Sabres. Now, in both doubles and standard, the Blizzard are facing the low seed, the number 7 seed. So the Blizzard got a bye week, and then now they're playing for both doubles and standard. They've got the bottom seeds of the conferences. And then on the other side of it, in the Orange Conference, in AL doubles, the Flames beat the Sharks, which was another upset. The Tyrants beat the Dodgers, and the Wizards beat the Shadow. Correction. So you've got Rhinos and Flames, Tyrants and Wizards, Blizzard, Sabres, Ducks, Express for the 4 teams per conference. Looking forward, going forward, I'm going to say that the Rhinos take the Flames. Not even biased 1-7 seed. You love to see it. It happens, but let's be clear. The only seed that matters is the Wolves. If the Wolves beat the Blizzard, I have to cut my hair because they made it to conference final, I believe, right?
I pray.
If Wolves beat the Blizzard, I have to cut my hair. So Spike, he's in chat. He says the Wolves beat the Demolition in a scrim, which is absolutely wild to me because the Demolition are the number 1 seed right now in the Orange Conference. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. It won't be like, let me clarify. If I say cut my hair, I'm just going to cut it a lot shorter. I'm not going to do no buzz cut, nothing like that. But
no, we're going bald. Bald.
No,
we're not short and pink or bald.
No, neither. I have to be presentable. I still have to love myself after this.
I want you to come back and be a completely different person. I don't want to know. I don't want to recognize you.
I'm just gonna wear a paper bag for like the rest of the Open Net episodes, and for whatever interims we have at the playoffs, we just have the paper bags over my head.
Understandable.
Tyrants and Wizards. I actually think that the Wizards take this one. They upset the Tyrants there. I know the roster of the Tyrants. I know the roster of the Wizards. Honestly, had to throw a coin toss. I'd say it goes to the Wizard. The Sabres in doubles going to beat the Blizzard. I doubt it. I really doubt it. But you never know. In the Ducks and Express, I go with the Ducks every time. Played against the Ducks. Know the Ducks roster. The Ducks have that on lockdown. Sorry, Express, but they've got you. They should have you handled pretty well and easy. In standard, Demolition beat the Shadow. In going down the line, Pandas should beat the Bears. No, it's a matchup with the Bears. You know, the Pandas and the Bears. It's definitely one that I want to see streamed. So heads up, anybody in chat, go get that.
I'm part of the Bears, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna stream all of our games. I could be wrong.
Are you guys cool?
Yeah. Okay, so our FM is gonna stream the 3s match on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. East.
I can't promise anybody's getting streamed. We're just
then the Wolves and the Blizzard, which we talked about, and then the Express and the Hurricanes. I'm gonna say. Again, this is another one of those matchups where it entirely depends on what team fields what players. Do I have trust in the Hurricanes? Yes, but the Express also beat us this week, so I'm not entirely sure. I really don't know. It could go either way, so we'll have to wait and see how that one ends up.
Understandable. Hey, it seems like there's going to be a lot of fun in AL this week, so I'm excited for it. I'm excited to talk about it next week.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to talking about that next week.
Me too. Well, I guess that's enough about AL, and we can start talking about CL. I get to talk even more. I know everyone just loves hearing my voice, so let's jump into standard. I'm going to start talking about the Foxes and the Hurricanes first. This game is going to be fantastic. But I personally can't see the Canes moving on from this game. The Foxes, as we all know, just like the AL team last season, that they were doing fantastic, and they have a lot of pickups and a lot of rank ups from their team last season. They are not lacking, insert lacked Fox joke here, with their skills, and continue to prove it as the season moved forward. So I could see the Blue Conference final being between the Blizzards and the Foxes next weekend. That's what I think is going on for the Blue Conference standard. And in twos, I just want to say all teams here in twos is fantastic, and there's a lot of cool things going on, but I think I see the Blizzard and the Pandas moving forward. And the reason why I say this is because the Blizzard are going to play the Ducks for their sorry, apologies. That seemed a bit confusing. I feel like the end result for the finals of CL doubles is going to be Pandas versus Blizzard. And now let me lay it out for you. Now that is kind of not confusing anymore. The Blizzard are going to be playing against the Hawks this upcoming week. I think the Blizzard can take them out easily. We just heard from the FM. They're doing fantastic. And then the Ducks, I think, are going to take out the Lightning. And the Ducks and Lightning played a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was like last week. And the Lightning beat them in threes. But I think that Ducks have a stronger twos roster. So that's where I see it going on. And the Pandas taking out the Tyrants. And then the Pirates, I could see the Pirates taking out the Comets, but I think the Pandas are going to end up taking out the Pirates. That is the way I see it happening for twos in CL. If you have any questions, concerns, please don't ask, because
don't bother bringing it to me, because I'm not going to answer them.
But yeah, so for standard though, I don't see Foxes winning it all, because I see my team winning it all. I see the Bears, CL Bears in threes.
Duh, Bears.
Taking out the Foxes in the championship. That's what I see.
Fresh, you thinking Bears getting swept?
No. Bears not getting swept.
No such thing. They have me as
you're supposed to work with me, Fresh. You're supposed to work with me here. You're supposed to be against
I don't even play. I just give them
Why would I work with you?
Exactly.
Uncalled for. Spartans a clean sweep this weekend, now, won't I? They're good, nothing.
Fair enough. But besides the point here, there's a lot of fun stuff going on in CO, and as I was saying before, there's going to be very good games this weekend. I mean, we're taking on the Outlaws. A couple weeks ago, we lost to the Outlaws as our final series of the season. But we were not doing so well. We didn't warm up, all that fun stuff. I can make up all these excuses you want. All I know is I'm gonna say we're coming out for blood, and we're gonna
be careful. I've learned the hard way what doing that does to you.
Hey, I was right last week. I'm gonna when you're lucky, you buy the lottery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a fresh prediction holds no weight, so we're it's a different levels.
Ouch!
I'm right back at you.
Why do you guys keep attacking each other like that?
Man,
like, oh my
God.
Us bottom level people just keep fight. I'm in striking distance of him right now. I gotta.
We're supposed to fight toxicity, not
I make fun of him with love. It's out of my love for him.
Oh yes. Where's cute. My camera?
It's this way.
I didn't know this was a Romeo and Juliet story.
Oh, you're down below me. Here. On video. Oh wait, we're over here.
Dude,
yes.
This is the camera. The stream.
Point the other way, Fresh.
The stream.
Am I flipped? Why am I flipped? Never mind.
You gotta point to your right.
I got to point to my right.
We're
Okay.
discombobulated.
There it is.
There
There it is.
So
Oh, how
sweet.
cute. What a beautiful love story.
Oh
This is
my
exactly
goodness.
what MLE is. It's not a Rocket League anything. It's actually just a love story. This is the beginning of a movie.
It's a rom-com and a half.
Yep.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Enough about that. We're gonna start talking about ML here, okay? And ML also has some crazy stuff going on. As I said prior to the past couple weeks, if you've not been here, ML was the one league that in, I believe, the Orange Conference had no teams that were clinched at the final week. Like the final week was literally could have gone any way because before that, no teams were clinched. So ML is just wild and it's crazy. But weirdly enough, the Blue Conference is being dominated by 3 teams. In both 2s and 3s, the Lightning, the Blizzard, and the Aviators are in the top 4 going to play this weekend, which is just incredible. And here, I'll lay it out for you a little bit. I'll just show you who's playing who. So for ML doubles, we have the Knights versus the Blizzard and the Lightning versus the Aviators. So right there, we can see some really good games happening. That's the number 1 versus the number 5 seed, and then the number 2 versus the number 3 seed, which, you could kind of expect that, except you would think that the number 4 seed, except Blizzard didn't make the number 4 seed. Whatever. Besides the point here. So the Knights and the Blizzard, that's going to be a fantastic game because the Blizzard has just a really strong team, but the Knights have been dominating the Blue Conference. So it's going to be really hard to say who wins here. I think I'm going to root for the Knights in this particular case, just because I remember the Knights had a really, really bad draft in the beginning of the season, and to see them at the number 1 seed is incredible. So I'm just going to be rooting for them in the case that, not only would it kick out the Blizzard a little bit, we can't boost the ego of the Blizzard too much. You guys know what I mean?
We can't give them too much more than they already have.
Exactly.
They didn't even make playoffs in FL. Ignore that they don't have an FL team.
You didn't really think about that one though before you said it, did you?
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Was it worth it? Okay.
It was factually accurate. Yeah. They don't have an FL playoff team.
And then the Lightning in ML versus the Aviators in ML. Now that's also going to be a great game because, like I said, those are 2 top tier franchises right there. They are both in the playoffs, still in the playoffs for ML Blue Conference, which is incredible. So I don't really know how that's going to go because they both have strong, well-rounded teams. One's not a 2s team and one's not a 3s team like the Sabres. The Sabres in AL are a 2s team, and they still barely made it. Just to stab them a little bit more because I think that's hilarious. Besides the point here. So I could definitely see. I want to see the Lightning and Aviators game stream. It's as simple as that. If you guys could get that going for ML, let's see it streamed, guys. Let's see it streamed. And then let's talk about the Master League Blue Conference for Standard. The Lightning are actually playing the Blizzard. And the Blizzard are number 6 in this case, and Lightning are number 1. So that's a bit, I actually expected the Blizzard to be a little bit higher in ML because J-Hex is literally the FM and he's in ML. But that's besides the point here. But props to the Wolves to standing up against everyone and, being the number 2. And just kind of throwing themselves in there against the Aviators now. So we'll see how that all, pans out. Fun times.
And now, I see a lot of people in chat complaining that we don't talk about the Rhinos very often, which we don't. The Rhinos is not a team that comes up all that often very much. But
that's right.
If we're going to talk about the Rhinos, let's talk about ML3s. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's so absolutely right.
I'm going to assume that's 1 miniature. Jake and Alphom guy or Alphom GA17. I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll just call him Al. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the Spectre came out. They got a 3-1. The Rhinos very, very carefully took, I'm going to assume, I don't know which game it was in this series, a 1-0, which was a very, very close. But the Spectre had them on the back foot the entire time. Mm-hmm. They had 6, 8, that's 14, 19 saves between the 3 of them. Al had 12 shots, which is more than both of his teammates combined. Maniac had 13, and Biscuit had 16. And then Kunix was just respectfully along for the ride at 5. He had 2 goals, 2 saves, 3 assists, 5 shots, and then there's Maniac, 3 on 13, and Biscuit 2 on 16, just absolutely hammering the net. So props to them, because I do believe that the Spectre, if I do go to ML Standard, we're the number 5 seed, which they upset the number 4. So there's another one of my 17 upsets. Talking about the Rhinos, yuck. It's just absolutely wild. But props to them. I do want to give credit to that series, because that is one that I noticed where it looked like the Spectre really came out and showed strong with their series wins. Another one here. I'm looking to make sure the week 10s don't get mixed in there. Did we already talk? We talked about doubles. Where's another one here? The Shadow and the Bears. The Bears, which I'll talk about your Bears for a second too.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Bears.
Naimu. I believe it's Naimu or NA1. Nemo. Okay, thank you. Nemo coming out had the lowest sprocket rating on his team. However, he held the majority of the offense with 15 shots on goal, which is just shy of his other teammates. Zulu had 8 and Judgmental had 9. So I'm looking at statistically, all the stats are really even across the board. And then on the ML, on the Shadow side, you've got Mike is Mike, putting in most of the numbers for the ML team at a 53 sprocket rating, which was the highest of the Shadow team. The lowest of the Bears was 67. And Mike had 11 saves and 10 shots, which 10 shots is, again, more than both of his teammates combined. And he had the 1 fewer saves than both his teammates combined. So Mike might come out there absolutely putting the Shadow on his shoulders and unable to come away with anything to really show for it. And the Shadow only scored 2 goals in the entire series, and they were both in 1 game, meaning that they got 2 shutouts in that series. Absolutely amazing performance from the ML Bears.
Bears. All right. I like ending off on the Bears there. That's super nice. It warms my heart to talk about the Bears. I just love them so much. I am not egotistical about them at all, as you guys can tell. Besides point here, okay. Let's jump into PL. So PL, and finally for everyone talking about the Rhinos, let me talk about them real quick. They are the number 1 seed for doubles in PL. So yeah, congratulations to that. But you guys are gonna have to either face the Flames or Demolition next. And honestly, I think I see the Flames taking out the Demolition in the Orange Conference for PL for 2s, because the Demolition are kind of far behind them. It wasn't very close statistically showing to them. So I could easily see the Flames taking them out and having a Rhinos versus Flames conference final. That's what I see. But will the Rhinos even beat the Flames? I guess we'll find out. People are putting a lot of confidence in them in the chat, so we'll find out. But oh, hey, look at that! They're also in Standard. They're the number 6 seed in Standard, and yeah, I mean they're still in. So congratulations to them for still being in. I mean that's fantastic. Now they got to face the Shadows, who are the number 3 seed. So there must have been one of your upsets were as well. Actually, well, no, PL didn't play last week.
No, PL didn't play last week.
Yeah,
I didn't count
somehow,
PL.
The Rhinos are in. Wild. Not exactly sure how, but they are. So good job, Rhinos. Yeah, the Hive number 1 seed in both 2s and 3s for the Blue Conference. You know, Hive have been dominating all season. That is as expected. And for 2s in the Blue Conference, we have the Ducks versus the Hurricanes. And you know, I'm not exactly sure what to see out of this. You know, Canes are going to be out for the kill. I can really see the Canes taking it out of the Ducks, out of the Ducks' hands here, because I know that the Canes were lower on the tier list as during the middle of the season. And they ended up making it from like the 7th seed to the 3 seed now. So I can see Hurricanes, you know, they got some momentum behind them. They could definitely take out the Ducks. But that does not stand the same for Standard. I think the Blizzard are going to take out the Hurricanes in Standard and then go against the Hive. That is my unprofessional / professional / everyone should believe me because I'm the best opinion.
I mean, I can tell you this here. The Hive in Standard and PL. I remember watching them at the beginning of the season versus my boys in PL. They are a force to be reckoned with. You do not take the Hive Standard team for Premier League lightly. You just can't. they're absolutely goated. They are the best of the best. They are as far as standard teams go. If I had to pick between the Flames and a Hive, I'd say that the Hive are the better team.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see how that goes.
Well, the Flames are playing against the Rhinos, not the Hive.
Oh, well, I'm talking standard. I know the Flames are playing against the Rhinos. The Shadow and Rhino play this weekend, and then the winner of that goes on to play the Flames, and then the Flames. The winner.
Oh, you mean 2 weeks after this week?
Yeah. I'm saying if I had to pick between the two of them right now, they are, if they were to play each other in a conference final right now, the Hive would be the better team, in my opinion. Let me say it one more time for all of you. In my opinion, the Hive are the better team. But that still remains to be undetermined, because we love to know that all of you out there in MLE like to prove me wrong, because every time I'm saying like, oh, this team's going to win, y'all just absolutely blow me out of the water, and the team that I said was going to win gets like 0 goals shutout 0-3 out of the playoffs.
Being good in PL, what else is new?
Oh no, freshest opinion.
Sorry about that.
He said, "Don't predict anything." I've got people from the Hive saying, "Please don't do anything."
There's gonna be a hit set out on it fresh tonight.
Honestly,
oh no. But yeah, that's enough about our previews. That was some amazing games that we're gonna see. So now we're actually going to hop into the captain's quarters. We have the FL captain of Elite, Piggy Buggy, and the Dodgers captain, Captain Cole. And we're going to get some reactions out of them. Here, Quilly, you're FL, so you're actually the pro here. Take it from here.
FL content. Are we jumping straight into the clips first?
What do you want? This is for you.
Yeah, we can just jump straight into the clips.
Go with the intro or the captain's quarters. That's what we're doing.
All right, let's get the captain's quarters in there.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Ice Cold Brew, and joining me today, I have two FL major players who are facing off against each other for the first round of quarterfinals in FL2s. Joining me first, I have the Piggy Buggy, the general manager of the Elite. How are you doing today, Piggy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing excellent. So we have you facing the number 4 seed, the Dodgers, this week. And looking back, it looks like they are a challenging team at the moment. What do you expect to see from them this coming weekend?
I expect a really strong lineup for sure. I expect to see Cole and Rua out there playing twos. I know that is one of their main strong twos lineup. Scary strong twos lineup. I know they're really good on offense, and then they've got the really good defense. They're just an overall one of those teams to watch out for. One of those teams that are going to be, those two players definitely headed up to AL probably after the season. So definitely scary, but it's definitely going to be a fun matchup for us. I'm definitely excited to see how all that plays out.
Absolutely. And, number 1 seed, we can kind of look back at the numbers. We know the Elite are a very strong team already. Y'all, again, dominating the twos field. But when it comes to playoffs, anything can happen, anything can change. And to give a response to that, I am actually going to be bringing in my next guest as well, the Dodgers player recommended by the Captain Benvin, Captain Cole, one of the people who is most talked about when it comes to twos, especially in the FL field. Cole, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. So my understanding is you haven't had a chance to face off against the Elite yet, but based on the running record, what are some things you anticipate in your upcoming match this week?
I mean, looking back at some of the stats and all that from previous games, they Elite do have a very strong squad. Like you said, I haven't been able to play against them, so don't know how that'll turn out. But we're hoping for a good run against them. Our players we look out for the most on their team is probably Sinister. It's going to be the top one. Piggy also looks very good for their team as well. I watched some of the replays. just an all-around great team. Hoping that we give them a strong fight in the playoffs.
Okay. And bringing you both back in together here, I'm going to bring you both here. So you both had to hear their response. You both got a chance to talk to each other in this way. Is there anything you want to say to the other team in response to their analysis, or anything you want to kind of retort, challenge about their ideas? Anything along those lines? Let's start with, in reverse order, let's go to Cole first.
I mean, Rua and I mean, we don't know who the roster is going to be. You guys won't see until game day. It could be us, could be somebody completely different to throw you guys off. I mean, either way, we got a strong squad. We're going to bring it to you guys in playoffs.
And Piggy, what do you say to Cole's analysis of your team and reaction to that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be scared of Sinister sometimes? I'm scared of him myself. But either way, it's no matter what last rosters that, are thrown out there, it's going to be a fun series. We're division rivals, from the whole season. And it's going to be definitely fun facing each other again, right, in playoffs. So no matter who goes out there, it's definitely going to be a fun lineup, fun watch, all of it.
And just to kind of throw both of y'all a curveball, because I know you were both in playoffs for threes as well, too. And I just want to y'all aren't facing each other off in threes yet. But do you expect each other to meet in conference finals for FL threes?
I mean, I definitely see it. I definitely see it happening. If we do again in threes, it would definitely be, just adding an extra player onto the field. It'll still be the same tough, fun lineups.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, both teams look like they got a pretty smooth ride to playing each other.
All right, that's great to hear. Thank you both for joining me. I know this was a little bit last minute. Thank you for coming to hang out and give your thoughts about your team and each other's teams as well. Y'all have a fantastic night. And let's send it back to the panel with that. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
Wow, great stuff coming on from Piggy Buggy and Captain Cole. I'm very excited to see this. And, I know Piggy Buggy pretty well. When I was in FL, I played with her a lot. She's very great. But she's very fun to play with. But you also know that she's super focused when it comes to game time. That's what you got to appreciate about someone like that. But, more from Quilly, the FL player.
I'm glad we have some more FL content going on here. It's what we love to see. FL, the best league, the fun league. But I had the pleasure of our team had the pleasure of scrimming both teams this week. So I got to get an idea of how both teams play and what they're like. What I gathered is that the Elite are the more mechanically sound team, and the Dodgers are the more mentally sound team. And I don't mean that they're both I don't mean that like they're both not both mentally and mechanically sound. I just mean in the sense that one is much stronger in a certain aspect of the game than the other one. Elite's ability to contest hits and put shots on net is next level. And the Dodgers' knowledge of the game of Rocket League, their rotations and seeing what other teams are presenting and how to combat it is astounding. I see this matchup. It's wit versus weight. It's going to be it's going to be who's smarter or smarter versus stronger. And whoever prevails is going to come out on top. Basically, very redundant thing to say. I know.
That's okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a good match. I think it's one of the best matchups that they've had. I don't know if they've played one or two times this season. I've had a hard time finding the stats. Who came out on top? I believe the Elite came out on top for twos. I'm not fully sure. They can correct me in the chat, yell at me, call me whatever names you want. But this is a huge opportunity. I think if this isn't a stream match, I don't know what we're doing. But to have them both do an interview and give their own perspective on the thing instead of us having us just guess away at what we think is going on, I think it's a nice thing to have. I think that they have great players all around. Elite, two players I love to play with and talk to. Piggy Buggy and Colts Koala, and The Dodgers, a whole great team around them. I got to sit and talk with them after. Got to sit and they picked our brains. We got to pick their brains, talk gameplay. Rua, Captain Cole, who we just saw. Choo Choo. I call him Choo Choo. Is it Choo? His wall hits are insane. I think they're all they're a great team all around. Both teams. This is going to be a great matchup.
Absolutely. Thank you for your professional insight. First ML, now FL. This man can do it all.
The only thing that I really want to add, well, there's two things I want to add to this interview, right? We put two rival captains together out of an experiment to see what happened, and we got the most innocent person in the world and a guy in a penguin onesie.
I kind of want to give him the win. I was kind of thinking about giving him the predicted win just because of the penguin onesie. Sorry, Piggy, but you didn't come out dressed out.
I don't even know what to make of that.
Same.
Hey, it's festive. It was just Halloween. It's festive.
It's really funny because the rest of the league kind of digs on FL a little bit for y'all's car designs. Y'all dress like that too.
Well, I mean, if you guys use the topper, I don't know what to say.
I use flags. I don't use toppers.
That's even worse.
The only flag that you're allowed to use is the musty flag. The only flag that you're allowed to play is the musty flag.
I will die with the Jolly Roger on my car. That pirate flag goes hard.
Okay, the pirate flag, yes.
No flags, nothing. It's an empty car. Just have a cool car design.
Haters. Bears are haters.
No.
I'm just grouping your whole team in with you.
All right, and also
maybe judgmental. Too.
Interrupt. I see you, DFAT. DFAT says I still use toppers in ML. There's your roast for the night. What are you doing? You are like what, GC1 and higher, and you're still using a car topper? Come on, DFAT.
As an ML professional,
grow up,
do better.
Grow up, okay? Tired of this.
Spend some time in free play, DFAT.
LDFAT in the chat. Spam LDFAT.
LDFAT. Hashtag LDFAT.
That's how it is.
Oh man. Okay, there's your roast. I told you I get you one.
Yep, there it is. 100%.